my friends, good to see you. My name is Kathy and today's video is all about the Anastasia Beverly Hills Rivera eyeshadow palette. Before we begin, if you're new, great to have you. Make sure to hit the subscribe button below in addition to that little bell, and don't forget the big like button. I'd really appreciate it. So anyways, let's jump on board and talk about this beautiful palette, and we're going to talk about it a little bit in detail. There are 14 shades in here, and it's very paradise inspired. This is unknown if it's going to be part of their permanent collection, so if this is something you like, you might want to pick it up if it goes, if it's not part of it. So, this is not your typical Anastasia of Beverly Hills. It's been a specially curated palette, and it tells a beautiful color story. There is one row of metallics with one really nice white, and then there's another row of mattes. This is something that is a little different. This is really a lot of color, and this is out of the box for Anastasia of Beverly Hills. So let's jump on board. Here we have the actual palette. It reminds me of like a jean kind of a fabric here, but it's a cardboard, and you open it up and it has a nice little dual end brush, and then we have a nice mirror, and then here's the colors. Really out of the box for them. Let me see if I can get you in. There we are. And as I said, there's one full row of metallics and then another row of mattes. This is a really nice white, and it's one for, that's really nice, especially if you have that porcelain skin tone, especially if it's, if you'd like to use it here in your corners of your eyes. But it is a beautiful white, and it is really spectacular. So before we begin, let me tell you about, before we do swatches, let's talk about these types and how to use them. This is a different formulation that, my opinion, that Anastasia of Beverly Hills is using, because they usually don't have this kind of a pigment. So to trade off getting that pigment, you're now getting a whole bunch of chunkiness and chalkiness to get that pigmentation. So my suggestion is, when you use this top row, make sure to apply with your fingers, so that way you don't have that fallout in your pan and on your face. And also on the bottom, make sure to use your brush, but make sure, instead of dabbing it into it, roll your brush and then apply it. Otherwise, you'll get color everywhere. I have the look on right now where I have 3 colors on, and it is quite beautiful. As you can see, it's a really nice coloration on me. But you can get a lot of pow. You can get a lot of neutrals, day, soft looks. But this is a big punch and out of the box for Anastasia Beverly Hills. So let's do some swatches here, and let me put them on my fingers, and then I'll put them on the back of my arm. So right here is Sales, which is a nice white. It's a matte. And then we have Yacht, which is a taupey violet shift. Then the next one we have is Seckles, which is a metallic aquamarine. And then we have Palermo, which is a metallic jewel pink. Look at those. Really pretty. Let me see if I can get you in. There we are. So let me put it on. Wow. But do you see that chunkiness there? And there's a lot of fallout. But let me tell you, that payoff is amazing when we're talking about that pigmentation. So then, the next 3 on this row is Seaside, which is in duochrome silver with a blue shift. Then we've got Inheritance, which is the metallic true gold. And the last one is Mediterranean, which is a metallic sky blue. Look at those. Really nice. And let me put on the back of my hand. Look at those colors. Really pretty. That Seaside is a little bit, you know, comes off a little bit softer, but it is beautiful. So then, let's go to the next row, which is the mattes. And let me show you this palette that I have right here after I've just swatched them. So look at that. Let's see if I can get it into focus. You can see the fallout that I have in there. So make sure that you use, you know, just dab your finger into the palette, you know, especially on that top row. So let's go to the next one, which is the mattes. And here we are is Estate, which is a matte pastel peachy pink. Then we have Cabana, which is a matte muted birch mustard. Then the next one we have is Coastline. So let's kind of take at that. And they're very soft. So let's take a peek at those. So we've got Estate, Cabana right here in the middle, and then we have Coastline, that peach. Look how muted those are. And they're really nice, matte. But look at that. Let's see. I think they're showing up. So let's go on to the next group on this. And it has, now this one's a beauty. And this one is Bahamas, which is a matte, bright, bold candy pink. And then we have Monte Carlo, which is a matte, cool, medium pink. And then we have Cannes, which is a matte, violet purple. And then the last one is Palm, which is a matte, it's like a dark chocolatey brown. Look at those. And I'm not talking, you know, some serious color here. Really, really pretty. So here's that Bahamas. Then we have Monte Carlo, Cannes, and then Palm. That is some saturation there and pigmentation. And this is a matte, you know, just kind of point that out. So that's kind of something that I'm just really impressed with, you know, the coloration and the pigmentation. But the fallout on this, so with this palette, you can clearly see that there was a trade-off with the pigmentation being really out there in those bright colors, and because of the formulation, it became a little chalky. And so make sure to use the two ways I tell you to apply it so you get the biggest bang for your buck. And just kind of give you some final thoughts on this. It is very colorful. As I said, I think they're testing this formulation. It is powdery and, you know, chalkiness, and so, but, you know, just be aware of that. Is this the best palette and formulation I've ever seen? No. But is it the worst? No. It's a nice average palette. If you have these colors in your collection already, then I would say pass on this. If this is something that's drawn to you, go for it. But it's a nice palette. Just remember, it does have some problems with it. They stepped out of the comfort zone with this palette, and it's very colorful. But the trade-off on this for the pigmentation was that the colors come out a little chalky and sometimes powdery, but my opinion, they're testing this formulation. These are something that Anastasia Beverly Hills does not do, these big bold colors. So I'm really kind of confident that this is, you know, they're going to be having some great things coming out. Don't forget that the top row are metallics, and make sure to apply them with your finger. And the bottom row, make sure to roll your brush before applying, and it'll help minimize on the kick up, and you know, if you're, as long as you know what you're getting into and how to work with it, I think this is a really pretty palette. If you have these colors already in your collection, I would say pass on this, because it'll be just a duplication, and I don't think you're going to really be happy with this palette, especially if you have it in others and there's a better formulation and they're not chalky. Also, I think that this is something that beginners might want to stay away from unless they really love these colors and they like that big pow. But I think this is more for the more, you know, tenured makeup artist and who has a lot of technique under their belt, especially to work with it. So I hope you liked this video and see you next time. Have a great one.